cops are just, and it's across the board. Like these guys were in fucking Memphis, like, and the last week it was in Los Angeles, and you know what I mean? These guys are everywhere.
Super hard because now it's very confusing for people. Not for me in the sense that I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter that they're black cops.
No, I mean, you know, no, I mean, it doesn't. They're cops. I mean, the cops are they're blue first before they're anything. You know what I mean? They're cops. You know, and they like, you know, this fucking cop siege mentality, like it's, you know, like they're in a war zone.
Yeah, well,
you know?
when we think about cops, okay, well, when I think of a cop, or maybe I'm just super acting like an innocent little kid here, but when I think of a cop, I'm like, okay, you're a person, you know, who probably cares on some level a lot, or not. Before I used to think that, like, there has to be some adherence to it, like, it maybe, like, it's important for you to protect the other people, whatever, but actually, it's really just organized gangs.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they're
there
just,
are people
I mean, they
with
were
good
called,
intentions,
this crowd in fucking Memphis were called the Scorpion Squad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like that's a gang fucking name. I'm sorry, you know what I mean?
True. Like, when you think about that, I'm like, what's the difference? They have uniform. I mean, gangs have uniforms, gangs have weapons, gangs have protocols with each other. There's no difference.
They're, I mean, I mean, it's horrible, man, and it's not going to change.
I haven't watched the footage. It's not because I'm not going to, but it was like this blitz since like Friday night where people were like, and overreacting, and you saw that on every single thing before you even got to the footage, and I was kind of like, I'm just gonna wait a second because I already know what's
Well, I mean, they kind of nipped this one in the bud. They like fired all 5 of them, and they've charged them with kidnapping and second-degree murder, and you know what I mean. We'll see what happens, what comes of that. You know, whether they'll make it to the point where they get acquitted in court, or whether they'll be charged. But there'll be the other thing of people saying like, which is like, you know, it's a rightful question to ask. It's like, well, these 5 black guys are going to go down for this, and yet the white guys who've done this year in and year out are not going to go down for it. You know what I mean? So that'll be turned into a fucking thing, and then, you know what I mean?
Well, you don't have to be white to hate black people either.
No, but I mean, like the police in general, are like, they need to be like, I mean, when they say abolish the police, I'm fucking all on board with that. I think it's a really good idea. Abolish, and I mean, you can't not have a fucking policing force in your community, right? But abolish the police as they exist now, for sure.
Okay.
Get rid of them as they exist now, and reinvent them as a better, more fucking, you know, I mean.
Yeah, like I don't see why there's such a. I don't understand why, besides like for some financial motive. Why?
Well, I mean,
why?
Their job, they exist to protect property and to protect wealth.
They don't.
That's what they do.
They don't even do that.
Well, I mean, they're kind of going to be more like, they're going to be more proactive in terms of protecting rich people's property than they are going to be in, for example, Los Angeles Police Department, for example, have like hundreds of thousands of untested rape kits.
Yep. They don't
care. They don't give a shit about that, but they will go and protect people's property and shit. You know what I mean? So there's no question that the police are equally as fucked up here as they are. It's the whole system of policing. It's again, it's like down to like.
I also think if you're a good cop, you have it out for you too.
Well, I mean, good cops don't last.
Yeah, I know you said that to me before, and I was like, I guess it's not like Law and Order, you know.
No, it's not like
I'm an idiot.
It is nothing like Law and
But
Order.
that is in your imagination. Like that is how we think. We think that
well,
people
yeah,
go to.
That's why they call it propaganda. The TV shows. That's why they call them that. You know what I mean?
It's true. Like,
I mean, I love my shows, but I watch it tongue in cheek because I know. I'm going, get the fuck out of here, man. Like most of the time, I'm watching the shit like the guys in SWAT. You know what I mean? They're running around like, you know, because they're so concerned about like, you know, accidentally fucking killing somebody. They leave to fucking kill somebody every time they go out in real life. You know, these guys are fucking pumped up. They're like, a lot of them are on fucking steroids and all kinds of shit like that. They're like, you know, they're jacked up to the fucking hilt, and you know, and they have this like us and them mentality. Like they're going out there to engage the enemy, and that's how they leave their station every fucking day. And that's why shit like what happened with this Tyree happened in Memphis. You know, like, you know, and like again, not the guy was like fucking like. I mean, I could have kicked his ass. He was not like a fucking. He was not like an intimidating fucking person in any way, shape, or form.
And even so, you still don't have the right to beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, the kid had a car accident, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Or was that the guy in Los Angeles? I can't fucking remember, but it's like the same thing happened twice, man. You know what I mean?
It's so
weird.
I feel like, though, that they've already kind of dropped, like, we're here to serve and protect. They've kind of dropped it, eh? Like, they've dropped the fucking shtick.
We had the whole thing, like, I mean, I mentioned this about all the cop shows, all my shows, like, you know, like Blue Bloods and SWAT, you know, they're all going on about, like, we just can't do our gosh darn policing job because of this gosh darn disband the police, this gosh darn woke. It's like, get the fuck out of here, man. You know what I mean?
They dropped it, though, but
you know,
they dropped it. They dropped it. They've dropped it because, like, when I've even seen, like, you know, the Chicago mayor, she seems to be always out and fucking about talking, whatever, and she's talking with, like, the police chief.
Who's that, Lori Lightfoot? No.
I think so,
Lori
yeah.
Lightfoot.
Something, she's black, right? With the curly hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, she's there, and I've seen her talk a few times, and it was like, I saw her with the Jussie Smollett thing and whatever, and they used that moment, and I saw her, one of the times that she addressed the press there, she kind of used it as, like, you see, like, these are one of the things that gets in the way of policing. And I'm like, of course it is when people have false testimonies to certain things or false crime reporting.
Yeah,
but you think that has anything to do with why Chicago is, like, up and come on.
No, because the police have been, like, are notorious. You know, there's a really interesting thing. I can't remember which reporter it was, but it was Trump was still president at the time, and this reporter, I can't fucking remember who it is. I'm going to try and find the clip. She said to President Trump, something blah, 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 you know, so many black people were killed by the police this year.
Yeah.
And he said, plenty of white people were killed by the police too. And she didn't go, she just went, oh, fuck. And it was like, he got you. He did a gotcha.
He didn't get you.
No, because you should have said, like, and you're okay with that?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Like, you could say anything after that.
Yeah, but the police
like,
are fucking killing people all the fucking time.
Say, come on. You'd be like, so isn't that a problem?
But they fucking kind of like identity politic this fucking thing into such a corner with Trump.
It doesn't let you talk. It doesn't let you ask good questions.
So,
questions
but like, you know, the police are out of fucking control, and they have been for fucking decades.
And it's weird because you know what the funny thing is about that? Have you ever seen anything on cop shows when the IAB comes through?
Oh yeah, they're the worst.
They're
always
worst,
the biggest asshole. Yeah.
But then you're like, but wait a second.
Yeah.
But how is it that like you understand that as an institution you need that part to exist for you guys to continue on. So if that's the case.
But the thing is, like, but they paint, like, in all the shows, they paint the Internal Affairs Bureau as these like horrible guys that hate cops. Actually, they're in on the game. Yeah. Those guys are in on it, man. They're fucking in on it, man. They're you know, they've been fucking cleaning up, wiping their asses and cleaning up their messes for fucking 50 years now. Yeah. You know, the Internal Affairs Bureau is like, their job is not to root out corruption. Their job is to disguise corruption and make sure it doesn't get out into the public to make the cops look bad.
Basically,
that's their job.
If you make them look like idiots, they're going to come down hard on you in a way of
the
like,
police are so fucking corrupt, and it's not just in the U.S. Although the U.S. is like standing out example of how corrupt the police are, and like Los Angeles in particular is just fucking horrendous.
It is crazy. Like, they're literally known to be the worst police.
They are fucking horrendous.
But from what we've learned in that article, and just from what you've seen, like from when I'm born in '89. All I knew was when I was growing up, I'd hear Rodney King.
Yeah, Rodney King. Yeah.
Then it was more actually.
Oh man.
More like obvious
Rodney
stuff.
King and Rampart. Rampart was just fucking ridiculous. Like the fucking just out and out, just utter and total fucking like taking money to kill people.
Let's be real.
Like,
as much as
hell,
people were really happy that OJ got off, like there were black people who there were black people who were really just happy that because he was black he was getting off. Another part was like they hated the LAPD.
Fuck the police.
Fuck the police.
And that was a huge part of why he got off.
What was his name? Mark Fuhrman?
Mark Fuhrman.
The most obvious
fucking Nazi. Yeah, fucking fascist Nazi.
But he really is.
Yeah. And
you think about that and you're like, well, it wasn't even so much of like getting this guy off. It was the fact that they hated the police.
They fucking
and people
hated
had
they were well within their fucking rights to hate the police. Fucking police are a fucking disaster. I mean, like they're not, and like everybody's gonna get all upset about it. It's gonna be fucking all shit for like a couple of fucking weeks, and then it'll be done again. Because we'll be in fucking World War III by the end of the fucking year. Any fucking way.
What happened?
I was just reading, like, no, you know Kevin McCarthy's now the Speaker of the House, right?
I've heard.
And now he's planning a trip in the springtime to Taiwan.
Well, you know what?
So-
I think he shuts the fuck up and gets a nuke in his ass. He was complaining about
So-
Nancy Pelosi, wasn't he?
Yeah, no. He wasn't complaining about Nancy Pelosi. He was complaining that there weren't any Republicans with her to show solidarity with Taiwan.
Yeah, whatever.
So he wants to go to Taiwan. Now, as if there's not enough fucking trouble with this fucking shit show in Ukraine, and now it's fucking Taiwan. And what they'll do is they'll go over there, they'll fucking go over there and provoke and provoke and provoke, and then something will happen, and they'll go like aggression, and then it will be a fucking war again. This is what they always do. It's what they did in Ukraine. I'm sorry. You want to fucking talk to me about it? I will fucking talk to you about it, because it is what they did in Ukraine. That was not fucking unprovoked attack that fucking Putin did. I'm sorry. The U.S. has been fucking pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing for fucking 3 decades in that fucking corner of the world to try and get Russia to bite, and they bit. So, am I excusing them from fucking invading Ukraine? Absolutely not. But am I fucking calling it an unprovoked attack by Russia? Also absolutely not. And the U.S. had every fucking bit as much involvement in fucking instigating this fucking thing as the fucking Russians. And they fucking know it. Nobody in the fucking media will tell you that because it's not allowed. But the shit that they were doing and have been doing for fucking 30 fucking years in that corner of the fucking world since the end of the Soviet Union, they've been trying to fucking, they want Russia's fucking resources. Like if Russia's the most resource-rich country in the fucking world, and they want the fucking resources, they want the gas, they want the oil, they want all that shit. And, so then they created this fucking war. And they're doing the same exact fucking thing now in Taiwan.
Such a small economy and small...
It's not really. I mean, it isn't. I mean, it isn't. But I mean, they have...
Huge.
But they have...
Potential.
They have... The fucking resources they have in that country are just off the fucking charts.
Yeah, well, you know what?
And it has the biggest landmass of any country in the fucking world.
True. But I think well then, you know what? It's coming.
It is coming. I mean, like it's, like you can fucking talk about...
I'm just like, fuck it. I'm over it. I don't even like, this is what people are... if you have this conversation with somebody who's like, I don't know, 20 or let's go further, 50, and they're like, fuck it, whatever. You've already fucked this whole place anyways.
Yeah, whatever,
That's the thing that I'm like getting so annoyed about. Is like other people are worried about the fact that climate change is really happening.
Yeah,
I can't believe that people are really denying it.
It's unbelievable. I mean,
it's unbelievable, and we're literally like, let's just nuke a few places. Let's just figure that out.
I mean,
ramp this shit up a bit.
We have the same fucking handful of fucking dickheads in charge who've always been in charge, and I don't know how the fuck they get to be in charge, but they have not been not in charge for the last 200 fucking years. The same fucking people who are running the fucking show are still running the show now. They've done a terrible job at it up to now, and yet they're still fucking in charge. And they still have their fucking meetings in Davos, and
they just did that, no?
Stick their fucking noses up each other's arses, and they fucking, you know what I mean? And
honestly, I bet that place, they just get knee deep in whores and cocaine and just go into it. And I think that's what happens in Davos. I don't think anybody talks about anything.
I
think they're just business. I don't know, but I just think that a bunch of rich, privileged people getting around to think about getting the world better, I doubt it.
Well, I mean, making the world better for them. It's just not.
There you go.
They never figuring out how to make the world better.
Making the world better
for them. Yeah. So like, just trying to cement their fucking, their control of the world and make sure that it stays cemented generationally going forward.
You said something to me like one of the things that killed the USSR was the fact that there's this aging, decrepit group of men who were leadership. Sorry, thank you. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, I'm almost at this point. I've heard so many people, and recently, just being like, oh, this new generation, they're fucked, their sexual fluidity and blah, blah. And I'm like, honestly, I'm cool with a TikToker being in charge right now. I gave up. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, because you fucking cunts haven't done any fucking thing better. You know what I mean?
It's just like, as well, it would be great to just have some people just chill the fuck out. Like, I'm kind of okay with somebody doing ketamine in the corner and just being like, don't do anything.
Do I have to do anything?
Yeah.
Work away.
Like, I get it.
Do whatever you fucking like.
What are they doing so bad? They're quietly quitting.
Whatever.
Yeah. You're like, I don't care.
The problem with them quietly quitting, though, is that
they're not doing anything.
Is that they're not. There's no fucking response. There's no sort of active counter to the people who are in charge, and they're sort of almost like without challenge able to fucking put forward their agenda, and their agenda is, excuse me, war, and just exploitation and fucking extraction. And it's like funneling the money and all the resources. I walked through the port today. Those fucking boats are ridiculous, man. These fucking yachts are ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
There's these fucking yachts that are bigger than the building I live in. I live in a fucking 5-story building, and these yachts are bigger than the building that I fucking live in.
Yeah.
And there's people sleeping in the fucking street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
These are the people who are in charge. That's not right. That doesn't work. That doesn't work.
no, it's not working. But the other thing is, though, it's like I feel like when you're people who are younger now, instead of like going out there like the whole quietly quitting thing, they're actually just exploiting themselves. Like they're doing that in a way, like in a way that I don't know whether it's empowering or not. But like I mean, like a lot of people, like, have you ever seen anything like this? There's like OnlyFans, all this stuff. This stuff, like, there's always been prostitution. There's always been things. There's always been things like this.
I mean, every
right?
generation, there's always something new. Something like a new way of doing the same shit.
But this is every single person with a phone.
Yeah.
Can do it now.
Yeah.
This is not about like you could be in Alaska doing this shit now.
True. I'm sure there are.
It's
I'm
changed.
sure there are Alaskan. Yeah.
Of course there are. I'm sure they're fucking also consumers of it. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's a different world, and I feel like, you know, they've given up a lot of them because they're like, you guys fucked us up. I really don't think that they care, and that's an issue.
It is a real
really
issue.
Big issue.
It is a real issue because they don't care.
Your generation,
and they're not getting involved.
Your generation marched.
Yeah,
I don't
my
know
generation
if that did any good. Obviously,
didn't do any good.
Sorry.
No, it didn't.
Sorry.
It didn't do any good.
No, it's like that's like sad.
It didn't do any good. I remember fucking, Earth Day every fucking year. I remember going to these...
Earth Day?
Earth Day, yeah. It was a New York thing. No nukes rally every fucking year. I mean, like, what has it done? It hasn't done fucking anything. Like the Iraq War was the most unpopular fucking war in the history of fucking wars. Normally you need the public on board, right?
They went.
There were like millions and millions and millions of people in the street.
All over the world.
Yeah,
that's true.
And they still fucking did it.
That's true.
And so people look at that and go, what's the point? Why should I get involved? Why should I get myself like worked up about this? Why should I put any effort into doing anything with any of this shit? I mean, look at Greta Thunberg. What the fuck has she done? Fuck all. I mean, she's done protests and stuff. That's great. Like, I admire the kid, but she's like a rarity among, like, climate change is possibly the only thing that generation is going to get really
it's the only
excited
thing
about.
That actually fucking matters.
Yeah,
if you think about
it is the only thing that matters. But like, they have to deal with fucking politics to deal with it. And so what winds up happening is it gets fucking watered down and diluted, and and they figure out a way to sort of like
corporation donates
to corporation to to greenwash themselves into doing like nothing, basically.
I mean, I think I saw like Adidas, or maybe I'm stupid, it's actually Wilson. They did like a floating tennis kind of court thing near the Great Barrier Reef, and that was like to promote cleaning plastic. And I was like, you know what? They probably knocked off like a couple million off their taxes or something.
Well, of course they did. I mean, this is what they do. I mean, it's all.
Like,
I mean, like the things like these big,
but
these big fucking issues, like these big issues, like climate change, and fucking like global fucking famine, right? These and clean drinking water for the whole world. These are things that there's no profit margin. So we have to the first thing that has to be done is to get to stop and go, hang on a minute. The profit margin is not going to fix this.
No, we're all gonna
so we need to do something, like we need to be like, people used to, I mean, like we would still be fucking scraping around in the fucking ground if we hadn't gotten together, like,
figured out some solutions on some shit.
when we were hunter-gatherers, we got together. I mean, hunter-gatherers is plural, you know what I mean? Like we got together because we couldn't survive on our own. And now we've got this fucking like weird fucking, like cult of the, like it's individuality and shit. It isn't, man. We need to work together, and people need to work together. And the thing is, like climate change is an issue, and energy and all that shit. To keep our energy and all our electric and all our shit that we like, we need to work together, and we need to get the fucking profit margin out of it. And it's like stop putting people who are just like interested in the bottom line in the fucking final. The balance sheet, get them out of it. We need to fucking figure out how to make it so that, and put the money into the research and put the time and effort and our resources into research to make the shit work so that it doesn't fucking destroy the planet and fucking, so there isn't this like huge inequality. But I mean, we're not going to do that because there's no fucking money in it.
No, we're too far
and we're going to go to war at the end of the fucking year anyway. So maybe when the war wipes out like fucking, I don't know, 4 or 5 billion of us, and then we get to start over, and maybe we'll have a whole fucking different society then. I don't know. I have no idea. I probably won't be here. I mean, if the war happens, I might get wiped out in it. You know, if the war happens this month or next month.
You live in the city. That means I'm going to get wiped out too.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Hey.
I mean, they might not attack Barcelona. What's the point?
Well, they're not going to attack it, but shit falls. I mean,
Well, shit would fall. Yeah. I mean, like, but I mean, it doesn't matter. Like,
World War II, they didn't have the shit they have now, and look what happened.
But the thing is, if we go into all-out fucking nuclear war, like the nuclear winter is going to fucking take place. You know, if they blow up like enough of these fucking things, like there's the nuclear winter, and then it's fucking like the whole fucking sky lights out on the whole thing. Nothing grows. And you know, like I said, like a couple of billion of us die.
Do you know? Have you ever seen that thing? It was like the worst year in history. Do you know what it was? It was like 536 AD.
Yeah. Because there was a Krakatoa or like a volcano erupted or some shit
and
like that.
Happened.
Yeah.
Some shit similar to, not like a nuclear winter, but something like you couldn't see the sun, nothing grew.
That happened in the 1300s, right before
the Black Plague.
The Black Plague. That there was like one of the volcanoes in the South Pacific, I think, or maybe in South America, or maybe it could have been in Montserrat in the Caribbean. Anyway, one of those big volcanoes erupted anyway, and it created a fucking cloud around the fucking around the Earth, and the global temperature dropped by like however fucking many degrees.
No food. Disease spread. And we're asking for that on a grand, like on a bigger
We really
scale.
are. It's just fucking stupid. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I think
maybe that'll cool it down.
I mean, I think there's too many of us, and I think that's one way to get rid of a whole lot of us is to have a fucking war. But I also think there's another way to get rid of a whole lot of us, and that is to fucking get rid of this fucking profit margin and reduce the fucking size of the population naturally, which we can fucking do.
But we do it anyways because a lot of people don't want to have kids.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think actually
when the society becomes more prosperous, people have fewer children.
Yeah.
It's just that's the way it works. I mean, it's happening in China. It's happened in Russia. It happened in the U.S.
I think it's happened throughout history.
It happened in Europe.
Europe was prosperous and like they had like the lowest like.
Spain's on a downward trajectory in terms of population.
Italy's had the lowest. Like in any like European country for years, I think.
Yeah. I mean, like Europe and the northern hemisphere is on the down, and the southern hemisphere is on the up. So but if you brought that kind of prosperity to sort of like the African continent and like the Indian subcontinent, you would see population fucking levels like level out, and people would like be able to live, and we would be able to,
Honestly, I think genuinely most people just want to fucking chill out.
These are huge fucking projects that without. You need to get rid of, reorient the society to where we're all working together again.
You got to kill a lot of people for that to happen.
But I don't know if you, maybe you do.
Yes, you do.
Maybe you do. But
yes, you do.
If you could figure out a way to change the fucking system so that we're not just, we're all relying on fucking profit. There's not like one guy with that big fucking yacht out there. You know what I mean? And it was more equally fucking distributed.
That one guy right now, or some of those few guys, have so many resources that we think somebody who swindles everybody and sells carbon credits right from under and actually makes it so nobody's doing anything good, he's a genius. In our society, that's a genius.
Yeah, that guy's
the guy who steals money
he's a winner.
He's a winner.
Yeah.
And you know how you'll see that? You'll see Wolf of Wall Street. You'll see that guy. Like, what's his name? Jordan, whatever. He's fucking idolized, right?
Yeah.
And that person who steals or who, like, I don't even know anymore if it's stealing. It's literally just what they think is like tricking the game or tricking the system.
The system is set up for them to. But I mean, this is my point. Like, we don't know what's going to fucking happen. Like, but I do think there's going to be. I do think there's going to be a war. I do think there's going to be like a proper, major, fucking nasty ass fucking war, because the U.S. is continually antagonizing China. Which is just stupid. They've antagonized Russia now to the point where this thing is kicked off.
Do you think China is like, because like honestly, I'm going to be honest, I'm very ignorant of anything really, really, really going on. You hear stuff going on about China. We don't know actually a lot about China. Like, I don't.
No, I know what I read.
I know what I read, but I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means?
No, I don't know. I mean, like.
And honestly, do you think that they are even in that position where they really want to? I mean, I know they have like one of the largest standing armies in the world and blah blah. But do they really want to do that?
No, of course they don't.
They sacrifice so much.
Of course they fucking don't. But I tell you who fucking does.
America.
Is the U.S. Yeah.
Whoever is behind.
I mean, the U.S. is fucking really. I mean, you look at which country has started the most wars in the fucking 20th century and the 21st century. Hands down. Hands fucking down. It's the U.S.
Yeah, but I mean, U.S.
I mean, like at this stage, it's like a fight for resources in the system that we have now. In the system that we have now, where it's like fossil fuel, and and we need like cobalt and lithium and all that shit for all these batteries and all this fucking bullshit and the phones and blah, blah, blah. We need those resources. Those resources are all finite. So it's about global dominance to have the control of all those resources. And that's what it's about. It's really simple.
I mean,
and the U.S. companies with the backing of the U.S. and it's like, and the military, which is like 5 times the size of any other military in the world, that is what they do. That's their goal. That's what they're pushing towards. That's what they want. And they will work as hard as they can to get that. I maintain there's a better way. Now, how to get the better way in, I don't know, because the people who have all the money and all the power, like, it's going to be very difficult to unseat them and get them away from
that. Of course, there's a better way. I just don't understand how you execute that.
Yeah,
like,
I don't either.
I don't know how you do that.
I don't either. Maybe somebody really fucking clever.
And I can actually see how some people can feel defeatist or like, go completely, I don't know, like nihilist on this shit and be like, doesn't matter. Because like maybe it's something intrinsic. I don't know. Because
yeah, I mean, I do feel that way, but I also feel the other way, man.
What's the difference? You had the scramble for Africa. You fucked up. You had a European nation scrambling towards just fucking. Yeah. But they didn't decimate the actual. Well, they didn't have the potential to at that time.
But I mean,
they just hurt people.
But if you take like, I mean,
like
I'm a sci-fi geek, right? So there's 2 futures, right? There's the fucking Skynet fucking Terminator future, which is horrible. Right? And then there's the fucking Star Trek fucking universe fucking.
That's good?
Yeah, because they were like fucking, they worked together, there was like no.
I've never seen that. Were they fighting aliens or not?
Not really. I mean, they created sort of the alien, the Klingons, and, for dramatic purposes, but the actual Earth people.
They were cool.
They were all cool. They worked together, and like there's that sort of, that egalitarian society, where people work together. There was no money. There's a great episode of the old Star Trek where they unfreeze these people. In the original series, they find these people in this fucking spaceship, and they unfreeze them. And one of the guys is like a billionaire, and he's an asshole. They're like, how are we going to make some money off this? Well, we don't do that shit anymore. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? And they're like, and they're like, put this fucker back in the fucking freezer. Forget it, man. We don't want him anymore. Yeah. So I mean, so there's those 2, and I'm like, I'm fearful, and I'm fucking like kind of like pessimistic about it, and seeing like, it's Skynet. It's Skynet.
It is Skynet. Here.
But on the other hand, I'm like, maybe, just maybe it'll be Star Trek.
I just feel like, why can't we just be on a farm with puppies and horses? Why does it have to be Skynet and stars? Why does it have to be that? No, it doesn't.
But I mean, we're going to the future. I mean, nobody wants to give up the fucking, their devices and their.
Can't we have a phone and be in the mountains? Like, why does it have to be so fucking aggressive?
But this is what I mean. I think that we could do all that.
Yeah.
I don't see why we can't do all that, but we can't do all that if there's one guy making a fucking shitload of profit, and like thousands of people, like scrounging for fucking scraps. We need to make a more egalitarian system where everybody works together as fucking humans. Maybe we need to be attacked from, from another fucking, world to unite together. And yeah, I don't know. There's a great story, another of my sci-fi geeky fucking things called The Light of Heaven by Ursula Le Guin. It's a great sci-fi story. And they get attacked, like this guy, like every time he dreams, he'll want something and he'll dream.
Okay.
And he'll have this dream, and he's like, I want there to be world peace. I want the whole world to unite. He goes to sleep, and they're being attacked by aliens. So everybody in the world is united against the fucking aliens.
Fair enough.
And then he dreams like he's got a I'm not sure if it's in the book, but in the TV show, it was a BBC TV show. He's a black girlfriend, and he's like, I wish there was no racism in the world. And he wakes up and everybody's gray. So his dreams are like.
They're like, it's like fucked up. Like,
yeah, they're fucked up
be
dreams.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah, his dreams are fucked up. You know what I mean? But I mean, like people, because people have always worked together. We wouldn't be where we fucking are now if we had. It's only in the last few hundred years that we fucking stopped working together.
Maybe you just need to. Maybe the way to do it is to find some fucking fictitious enemy and let everybody unite against them. Maybe that would be the trick.
Could be.
Maybe that's it. Maybe you got to figure out.
Yeah, it could be.
I
think we have to I think we have to seize the means of fucking the control, seize the power from the people who have it now. But I mean, who's we? I mean, is it me? Fuck that, man. You know what I mean?
The point is, it should be all of us.
Yeah, the problem is like all of us we don't work that way. We kind of have a tendency to sort of like appoint somebody as the head, as the leader of our thing. It's
But
really.
the means of production, like there has to be large groups of people who are.
Yeah, I mean, I
responsible
think a lot of all of that belongs to all of us.
for that. Yeah.
Because we've paid for a lot of all of it. I mean, like, you
We have
know,
paid for all of it.
yeah, I mean,
It's like
you know,
blood,
yeah.
sweat, tears, and
Yeah.
money. They
Yeah.
didn't pay for any of this shit.
No.
I mean, like you said before, and I actually do believe this, I really don't think there's many fortunes that have been earned.
No. Behind every great fortune is a great crime.
Or like massive massacres and shit. Like really, it's
Yeah.
that bad. And even if you say like, okay, somebody came from a well-to-do family, whatever, but it's like behind that is something. I mean, I don't know. I guess you can't.
Like I said, I'm always going on about Anderson Cooper, but like I want his money now. I know. I think
You
his
gotta-
money.
that's a personal
his
thing.
money
That's
was
personal.
fucking stolen. No, but he like you know I know.
What did he, was he a nice guy?
Yeah, he's a kid. I told you I met him when
Yeah.
I attended bar at his
You were a
16
kid, yeah.
sweet 16 birthday. He was a nice kid. He was a rich kid, but he was nice. I mean, rich people generally are. Rich people are generally pretty nice. Like real rich people. And Anderson Cooper's a real rich person.
Yeah.
Like not just some fucking kid whose parents whose dad is owns a fucking like a chain of plumbing supply
Right,
shops.
you're talking like massive wealth.
Those kids are assholes. But kids like fucking Anderson Cooper,
Sorry.
Anderson Cooper is generational wealth. He's super nice. Like all really, really rich people are super, super nice. Because why wouldn't they be?
Yeah, what's wrong with their life?
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Ah.
I mean, like I said, I went to high school with quite a few. I went to high school with a Roosevelt. Well, he wasn't in high school, actually. He was in my fucking drug rehab. My after-school drug rehab fucking thing. One of the Roosevelts was there. And he was like, you know, he was like just a dopey rich kid. He was
That
just a
sounds
dopey
about right,
kid.
though.
Yeah, he
Drug
was a
rehab
dopey
board.
kid. Yeah, he was doing drugs and shit. He got caught partying, and you know what I mean. And like, you know, his parents put him in the fucking thing, and you know, because he still had to get into Yale, and he might not get into Yale if they didn't do something about, or wherever the fucking Roosevelts went. Did they
And
go
now
to Yale
he's
or
what?
Princeton, I
Like
think
now
he was.
he's what? Like the DA of some
I
ADA,
don't
some shit like that.
know.
Not even. He
I
wouldn't be
don't
that.
know.
He's like, you know,
who knows? But I'm
JP
sure.
Morgan dude.
You know, I'm sure he's. Yeah, I'm sure he's like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a Roosevelt.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake. You know what I mean? He's got money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, you know, I'm. You know, they need to give that money back. And hopefully they give it back and we don't need to take it.
Yeah,
Suddenly
but-
they go, oh shit, you're right. My family were a bunch of fucking assholes. Take this back.
I don't think that's how.
And like I said, Anderson Cooper can keep one fucking apartment in fucking New York
And one house.
out in fucking Southampton, Long Island. But after that, he's got to give everything else back.
Even the money.
He can keep his fucking job at fucking CNN. He's making at least $1 million a year. That'd cover his fucking co-op fees in his
Got a
Manhattan
house in
apartment.
Brazil too, apparently.
Has he got a house in Brazil?
I think so.
I'm afraid he's going to have to give that back. No, I'm afraid he's not keeping the house in Brazil. Anderson, sorry, kid. You're not keeping the house in Brazil. That's going to, some fucking poor family, like 6 poor families from the fucking favelas are going to move into the house in Brazil. That's who's
I
getting
like
the
the way
fucking
you
house
want to
in Brazil.
redistribute the wealth there, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I told you about my idea for my game show. I think I've said this before, but I have this great idea for a game show in New York. When we seize the means of production and take all the properties back.
Okay.
Because there's going to be all these like penthouses and shit like in
Yeah.
New York. So we're going to have a thing where a family gets to live in it for 4 years.
Okay.
So like there'll be like, and there's like a show. It's like a game show. Like
Okay.
come on, it's like whoa, and now living at number 440 Park Avenue, penthouse suite. It's the Valdez family, and they come like, hey, Poppy.
Why is it 4 years?
Because 4 years, because then in 4 years another family get it.
And then where do they go?
Well, no, but they get a nice house. I mean, they get a nice house, but they get to live in the fucking penthouse where only the fucking super ultra wealthy had lived up until then, right? So it gets raffled around, and they like so families from like Eastchester in the Bronx and shit, they get to move to like the Park Avenue apartment for 4 years. So it's great. So like a kid. So as not to get too spoiled as well. So a kid gets like 4 years of living in this fucking amazing, deluxe apartment in the sky.
Okay.
And yeah, so so like that's every 4 years, and so like so it's the Valdez family from Eastchester in the Bronx, and then like in a couple of months it's going to be I don't know the.
So what happens to your
Yeah.
Vanderbilts? What happens to your Vanderbilts?
They get they get to keep one of them. They have fucking 4 or 5 of them.
Okay.
I told you, Anderson gets to keep one.
Okay, so he's got.
You know what I mean? Whoever you get to keep your principal primary residence.
Okay.
But all the extra shit we want back.
Okay.
And then we distribute it out amongst the people, and like
Funny enough,
and then like the high level fucking apartment places, like maybe there's probably like 20 or 30 of them, and these are the ones that are on the game show. It's a fucking fun thing to do.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's all right, man.
that's interesting. I mean, it's better than my version. Mine is totally like Reign of Terror, just kind of.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't.
That's better. It's better than my version. Mine is just really like.
Yeah, it doesn't it's vengeful and shit, and it never works.
No, I didn't say that.
Because you always become, it's like Animal Farm. It's Animal Farm. You become like suddenly like the pigs are living in the fucking house.
Yeah.
And you know, all animals are created equal. Some animals are just more equal than others. You know, which is like, you know, that's what happens in Animal Farm.
Yep.
Which I've also read. Thank you, fucking right-wing assholes who quote fucking Orwell all the time. But it's like, you know, you know.
I know, but.
I just think we could do it in a so much more equitable way without having to take. But I get that thing of like, you know, there's like this like what happened after the like the French Revolution, off with their heads kind of thing. Can't do that. It just doesn't work. It creates a fucking. It's a really toxic environment. So what we need to do is like, look, you get to keep that. You get to keep that. But then that's it.
Because you know what? It has to stop at a point where it goes too far.
We're taking the rest of it. We're gonna fucking sell some of it off. We're going to give a lot of the properties away, and we're going to fucking redistribute your stolen wealth, and we're going to give it back out to the fucking people who deserve it.
I like
we're
that
going to
idea.
we're going to build more schools.
What happens if they
we're going to
resist?
fix the fucking water. We're going to put all the electricity
What
cables
happens
up.
if they resist?
Well, you know,
They will.
Therein lies the problem. We have to make it. It's got to be a carrot and stick thing. So like we'll go like, here's the carrot, and the stick is not going to be nice. And I don't want the stick, but the stick is fucking there. So, but listen to my plan. So, like the money that we get from all the shit that they have, right? So, we're going to fix all the water systems in the major cities. We're going to fix all the electricity. We're going to bury all the electricity underground so that no storms don't knock the fucking shit out all the time. We're going to fix up seawalls. We're going to fix the roads. We're going to fix the bridges. We're going to fix the tunnels. And who's going to do all that? Well, we're going to put fucking people to work doing that. We're going to give them jobs.
New economy.
Exactly.
Right.
I don't see how.
Great idea.
I don't see how that
What
can't work.
happens when they don't want to do it?
Well, that's when, that's when you need your fucking Che Guevaras to come along and go, well, we're doing it. And either, you could go with like,
You know what I'm saying? Like, where does it go?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, we can do this the easy way or we can do it the fucking hard way.
It'll be the hard way.
And unfortunately, I think it probably will be the hard way, which is really, again, like I said, it kind of puts it off on the wrong.
It totally
creates this whole toxic fucking thing where.
But imagine that these people have been subjugating people for years.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for them to give that up. Yeah, it's going to be hard for them to give that up. Yeah, I watched an interview with Lula, the Brazilian president, and it was like, he said, they said to him, why do you, like when you were in power, it's like the rich, like it wasn't like you took stuff from the rich people, like they still did really, really well when you were in power. He's like, I just don't think they like the fact that people who used to be down here were now here. Yeah. And they could they saw them at the airport going on holidays, and they didn't like it.
They don't like that.
Yeah, and I think so.
You don't get to tell stories.
You're not special anymore.
You're not special anymore.
Yeah. So.
I've seen stuff like that. I've seen that where you can tell somebody's just literally uncomfortable because they're in the proximity of somebody who does not have as much money as them. Yeah. In a way that is not them serving them or them. They're like, you go here kind of thing. Yeah. I've seen that before in real life, and I'm always like, wow. Like that is.
And you know who it tends to be? It tends to be the sons of the guy who owns the plumbing supply chain store. Like those assholes.
Do you have a problem with somebody?
I know a guy.
I knew it. I was like, that's
it's those assholes. That's sort of like that sort of lower rung of just that nouveau rich new money kind of.
Did you really?
That new money kind of fucking new money fucking level of fucking assholes. Like they tend to, because they're aspiring to be like the fucking Anderson Coopers. Trump. That's Trump. That's who Trump is. Always on the outside looking in. Was never allowed up to that level. Like now his kids, they're in that.
Now they're in that.
Yeah. Like Ivanka was like. She was invited to all the fucking parties. She was on all the guest lists. She never waited in a fucking line to go into any nightclub in New York.
He for sure did.
Ever.
He for sure did.
He fucking absolutely would have to fucking
And his taste is such an obvious it's like a monstrosity,
Yeah.
And you
gold
can tell
toilets and shit.
Yeah, you can tell that it turns other people off so badly.
Yeah.
And I don't think he needs.
These are the ones it's going to be hard to fucking wrest the money from. Yeah. Like the Coopers and fucking those fucking people, they're like, I think it'll be easier to take the money off of them. Because I think in the end of the day, they're all really well educated, and they got educated in schools like, Harvard and Yale and shit.
They had their hippie lesbian moments.
They had their hippie moments. but they also learned and realized that they know what their fucking ancestors got up to.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I'm probably getting off easy.
But they also have studied history and know.
Exactly. And Anderson Cooper will be like, I'm probably getting off easy. I'm lucky to have the house in Southampton and the fucking apartment.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
But if you're talking about somebody who probably in their mind scrambled and scraped and scratched through New York society.
Yeah. I mean,
like for Trump,
true.
that's
For
probably
Trump
for
would be
him,
difficult.
like he climbed up.
Trump would be difficult. But I mean, I think like, the thing is like my plan doesn't take fucking people's houses. My plan doesn't take like.
You're not displacing
No.
people.
I'm not taking fucking people's houses. I'm not like, so people who have like a, like a middle, like even a decent house up in Westchester. The guy who owns, I'll leave the fucking plumbing supply chain out of it, but like, a guy who owns like, like a jewelry store in Manhattan, right?
Yeah.
He's got a decent middle class life. He has a house up in fucking Dutchess County.
Okay.
Like, that's fine. Yeah, keep that. We don't want to take that away from you. You keep the diamond business because the new economy with all the people who are working, fixing all the shit they're going to come and still buy their diamonds from you. You know what I mean? So like
you're talking about monstrous, like murdering fucking generational
those motherfuckers.
Wealth.
Yeah.
You're like
robber
barons, all that shit.
Yeah.
What do you do with these tech people? Because they're also little fuckers.
I mean, they've gotten up to the point where they need to be dealt with as well. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Bezos, Musk, fucking Zuckerberg, I'm sorry. They need to be dealt with.
They need to be dealt with. Where do they
I'm sorry, but you know what I mean? I'm not, but like, and they'll get the same, they'll be given the same sort of like, handful of fucking, like the same set of options, the same, like here's the benefits. You're going to get to keep that house.
Okay.
You're going to keep that, but that fucking, like the billions that you have, I'm sorry, that's good. We're taking Amazon. That is now a fucking nationalized company.
Right.
Facebook is now nationalized.
You're in trouble, man.
Yeah, no, fuck that shit. It's now nationalized.
Question for you.
You'll be compensated at market value, and then we're going to tax the shit out of it, and you'll probably be left with like, I don't know, a couple of million.
Yeah.
And the fucking principal primary residence. You know what I mean? We're not.
Probably would never have to work again.
The last thing we want to do is fucking leave you out in the street, because then you'll just fucking fester and become like, you'll be like what happened in Cuba when they fucked all the Batista people out of Cuba, and they all went to Miami, and they're still in Miami, like, and their asses could grind coffee because they're so pissed off that they want to ship back still, like generations later.
They do, and they're angry.
So yeah, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Yeah. Oh yeah. We don't want to do that. We want to. We're gonna fucking reappropriate the shit.
My question is this, because there are some people. I always think like, of course, like I don't know what am I doing? Am I mythologizing this? No. Like how about drug dealer, like cartel leaders? What do you do with people like that? Because I was gonna say something to you. I could see how you're gonna have to treat somebody like, I don't know, what the fuck is the OxyContin people? What the fuck is their name?
Oh well, I mean, yeah, they
really gotta go.
Well, I'm taking their money.
You're funny, son.
I'm taking their money. There's no fucking. No, listen, sorry. I'm taking their money and putting it all into fucking facilities to help the people that they fucked up, right? and putting the people whose lives are fucking like devastated before they got onto their fucking shitty drugs, and we're going to give them jobs, and we're going to buy them. They're going to have a house. What do
you do with a cartel?
There'll be like a nominal mortgage payment for them to. They're going to have to pay. You know what I mean?
Would you treat?
Because they're going to own the fucking house.
Would you treat a cartel person like that?
I would kind of. Yeah, I would.
You might have different kind of leniency.
I would have. I mean, I'd have a bit of leniency for the Sackler family as well. I would like, again, you keep your principal primary residence, and you know what I mean. You can keep some sort of business, and we can take all your fucking infrastructure that was used to make these drugs that you purposely made to addict people with, to make actual good drugs that we need. So you're gonna make insulin.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna make fucking whatever, like AIDS drugs, or you're gonna make whatever the fuck.
We're gonna take that money that you made and put into cancer research for real.
Exactly.
Got you.
And then as for the fucking, well, I mean, all the drugs are gonna be legalized, so I can't very well keep the people in the cartels in the thing. They're gonna have to. It's gonna be. I think there's gonna be some harsh justice there. Because they've come up in a world that was so fucking
against them.
And so criminal that we really have to be careful with them.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is they could give you a big argument and say, no, we lived in the lowest rungs of society.
I get it. You'd have to
I was thinking, like, how do you do
I hadn't
that?
really thought about them. I hadn't really thought about them, to be honest with you.
I thought about it, like, oh.
Yeah, but I mean, there would definitely be the same sort of leniency for them as there is for, like,
there would
for Los
be
Angeles.
no distinction in that sense.
Yeah. But like, we're still going to have fucking jails and shit like that because there's still fucked up people. I mean, there's always going to be fucked up people.
Of course, yeah, no, I didn't think that. That police force is going to be quite interesting.
None of these motherfuckers, they're all fucking fired. Every fucking single one of them now that's in the fucking police force, fired. We'll go through an interview process and a retraining process and a fucking thing, a process to see like but we're gonna reorient the entire police force in a different fucking way. We're not gonna have a police force that's like just working for the elite few because there's no more elite few.
Yeah. You're working for the many.
We're working for the many. So it's like, I mean, is it communism? Probably not really, but it's a version of fucking communism.
It's definitely a version of communism.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
It's much more understanding of like your individuality, I guess.
But I mean, like the system that we have now doesn't fucking work. It so clearly does not fucking work.
And that's funny. The quote always used to be like, "Oh, democracy is the worst, but it's better than any other ones."
Yeah, I mean. Well, I mean,
you're like, how?
Well, we don't have democracy. There's no fucking democracy. None of this shit is democracy.
No, it's not about us not arguing, not having our opinions heard. It's like your opinion is not being heard today.
But I mean, capitalism is broke. Capitalism is doing exactly what Karl Marx said capitalism would do. Right. It's consuming itself. And it's not working. So we need another system. We can have elements of the capitalist system in that, like you still own a bar, people still own shops, the guy who owns the diamond shop still has the diamond shop. But we have bigger things like our public works and our water and our electricity and our gas and our energy and our roads and our bridges and our tunnels and our airlines and
you know what I always thought about that?
Our communication.
The opportunity of that is that maybe we would start appreciating other things other than money. Like maybe like if you're capped out, like you can't own every hotel in the world.
No.
If you're capped out of that, then you're like, well, maybe we'll value people being good to each other.
I mean, you can, like hotel people, you can still own a fucking hotel.
But not every hotel in the world.
Not fucking 700 of the fucking
things. You can't have conglomerates.
No, because that creates this fucking...
That creates the problem. That's what I'm saying. So like, maybe that'll teach us as society to value other things. We've never had an opportunity in this world, as I can tell from known history, to say like, why do we appreciate people doing good things? Like maybe you could like actually.
Yeah, there's an interesting. You're gonna love this one. This is gonna be another show.
This is gonna be crazy.
There's an interesting sort of train of study, let's say, on Egypt, and that there weren't slaves in Egypt.
Okay, that's not true.
Well.
That's not true.
Well, this is like a kind of like. No, it's not bullshit. I mean, there's like a serious area of study that is saying that the Egyptians, we look back at the Egyptian society, and we put our own morals and our own thing on it, our own lens on it, and we see it as slavery. But it was actually not slavery, and as we're thinking of slavery, and that these people were like, there's no fucking way that slaves were going to build those fucking things with the precision that they fucking built the pyramids and all that shit, right? So these were like skilled workers, and it was a society that built this fucking thing together, and instead of like, so they were housed, they were fed, they were, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So there is a significant school of thought that is looking at that.
So you're talking about this being more of these are societal projects. These were not looked at as necessarily this being better.
Yeah. So I mean, and the thinking was that like they would go off and they would farm, and then they would seasonally come back and do that. Okay. That was the thing that they did, and they worked that way. It is a significant school of thought.
That thinks that way. I can see that. I'm just gonna say.
And that we put primarily down to like our Judeo-Christian tradition. That we put down. And I would say even Islamic tradition as well, because the Judeo-Christian and the Islamic, it's the same. It's the Abrahamic tradition, right?
Yeah.
Like that there was that the Israelites were enslaved, right?
Yeah, it's like,
and this is like no, I'm getting into fucking dangerous territory now. But there was like that the Israelites were enslaved. There's like according to this shit that I was reading, there's very little evidence that there were any fucking Israelites in Egypt, and that the Israelites didn't really fucking start until years after Egypt. That they were like they were not congruent in history.
Okay.
Right? But our contemporary mythology is that the Egyptians enslaved the Israelites. That may be entirely incorrect. So that was a society.
You gonna cut that out later?
That was a society in which there
I
were.
hope you were like that was.
No, it's
incorrect.
really difficult. But it's really because I'm like hearing people fucking hear me say this and shit. I'm going like.
I'm like. I'm in another room.
But
Green screen
So
me in here.
so this school of thought is that that the Egyptians, like the earlier Egyptian society was like it was not like a slaver and an enslaved society.
And this is like I don't know how you take morals out of this, or you're right, our lens and blah blah. But I think Chinese history at times has said as kind of like been similar to that thought of being like this is a generational goal. This is a thing that we all pull together.
Very much so, and we have this. But again, our educations are both Western, right?
Yeah.
So we get this Western education that steers us in this way.
Of course.
So like we're taught that like China up until the communist revolution was like a very, very, very brutal feudalistic society.
No.
And
but I didn't think that.
Well, it was like
It was feudalistic, I mean, I get it, but they were.
But exactly. But they did, and they had like the Forbidden fucking City and all that kind of shit, and there was like
building works.
Amazing.
Really.
Which is the kind of shit that you don't do with slaves. They just don't do that.
No, because you need skilled like technicians.
That's the whole point about
workforce,
the Egyptian like.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Anyway,
I'm just saying.
No, I get it, man. I mean, I have loads of friends in New York who like you're not coming to fucking Mommy's for fucking dinner fucking next time you're over. You know what I mean? But like I'm not. No,
you're not discounting anybody's like suffering, but you're just saying there is a school of thought that says because we don't know.
Absolutely,
I don't fucking know.
But my point on that is like this, like sort of just like like in response to the notion that humans have always been like always been like this way that we are now, which I kind of think maybe no, we haven't.
No, we have not.
Because if we had been, like if we were all like this super individualistic fucking just like I'm all in it for me. We never would have gotten out of the fucking out of Africa.
Yeah, that's
we
true.
never would have like traveled and done all
But
shit
also,
as hunter gatherers and and then agrarian stuff. Anyway,
No, sorry to interrupt. But you notice, like you're right, because it would be like Judaic or Christian, Christian, Muslim, whatever, all these religions, because a lot of pagan religions have a really interesting understanding what sacrifice is.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means body, time, whatever, but they really, really honor that.
Yeah.
And it usually is for a common goal, whether it is whatever, to go to war, to go to this, and you see that, and that's not just in like places like I don't know, like it's not just like in South America or whatever.
No, but I mean, you see the shit that they built in South America. There's no way that was, like somebody getting whipped to do that. There's no fucking way, man.
You're not doing that.
Like you don't whip a fucking.
Well, you can't do it.
Yeah, it doesn't work. So I mean, I think there's like we should be thinking about that. I mean, I'm like from a very negative place. I went to kind of positive today.
Wow, I've never seen you go that positive. Granted.
I don't know, man.
Granted.
I mean, I just think I think people. I do have this like people have always fucking worked together, always. And I think what got me started was this fucking show I started watching, that Last of Us show. And it's another one of these like post-apocalyptic fucking zombie things, right?
Yeah.
And once again, it's like they're at each other's throats. And I maintain that when please God, if, not when, but when the fucking, when the Holocaust, fucking nuclear Holocaust happens and we're back to like, we're bombed back into the Stone Age, I think people will work together. I don't think that they automatically go fucking really mad and tribal. I think there is some of that, but I think You know, but even tribal is working together.
Yeah, tribals are. That is the definition of it. It's just against other tribes.
Yeah, but I mean, I wonder, like, you know, how
big that tribe can get.
Yeah, I mean, I think. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I could be talking complete shit. I have no fucking idea.
No, I don't know. You're onto something. I just think that we've gone through a very probably selfish moment in our society.
I think we are possibly at the most selfish moment we've ever been at.
It could go up a notch.
But it may go up a notch before.
Seriously. That's the problem.
But I mean, I wonder, you know, do we have to go to, I mean, my fear is that we have to go to like the absolute total fucking extreme before we correct it.
I would just say this, I can avoid watching that video because I can avoid watching that video and half the time, if I'm honest, and I'm really honest with myself, my whole world is my phone, people that I get to see. I don't live in a war zone. No,
you don't. But I mean,
I don't, and I like just going back one generation. My parents have been in a war zone.
Yeah.
And as much as I feel for them, I understand their experience, whatever. I'm still disconnected from it. As much as I want to help, I'm still disconnected from it. And that experience of being like, what are you going to do with your life? And what do you feel good about?
But do you know anybody who's 80 years old?
Yeah.
You know somebody's 80 years old, right? 80 years ago, this was a war zone.
I know.
You know, that person that you know is 80 was alive. This literally was getting fucking bombed. 80 years ago. 80 years ago is not that. 80 years is not that long.
I know, but our experiences as individuals,
I get it.
It doesn't pass on. It probably doesn't pass on even like it used to, because I think people used to harbor things like that.
Yeah, but 90 years ago, people here were going, fuck that, war doesn't fucking concern me. It's fucking, you know, it's not even here.
It's right there.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it was like, you know, 1930 here, there was fucking nothing going on. Like fucking.
No, nothing. Well.
6 years later, it kicked off in 1936. 6 years later, they were at fucking war.
Yeah, but.
There was like a fucking democratically elected sort of semi-left socialist government here in 1930. Yeah. And in 1936, they.
But how small was your community back then? Like how far was it? Like you know, I can find out maybe not exactly what's going on, but I can get the sense of what's going on, like millions of miles away.
Yeah.
You know, and I still don't care.
True. It's true. Yeah.
I might care, but I don't. I just feel.
Yeah, it doesn't affect you personally. Yeah.
No, and it's fucked up because I do actually care, but I don't ever think that anything I could ever do. Like, you know, we're so fucking negative about stuff even nowadays that like you see somebody helping, you're like, how much of that really goes to the fucking person who needs it?
No, fuck off.
But we say that. And people who are really still
I don't know.
We're hope killers,
I have my fucking my grandiose fucking schemes of how to fucking fix it all, but how the fuck I don't know how to make that work.
I mean, the thing is, you'd really need to get some people. You need to get some fucking heavy hitter killers for that to work. I'm sorry to say that, but I really truly believe that. I don't understand how. You know, there was some dude just talking about it. You know, like Martin Luther King, all them. They were just talking about it, and they got fucking assassinated. Yeah. So what you're saying, it's like the other side has hitters.
Yeah, I think unfortunately we need some sort of like you know, like a unifying force, like a new Pearl Harbor, to quote the Project for New American Century.
God. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So but you need to do that in reverse.
Well, I mean, it could be a new Pearl Harbor, but with just the right people seized power
but it would
on
have
the back
to be,
of it.
It would have to be the most innocent group of people.
Yeah,
nobody
would
can
have
deny.
to. Yeah.
What the fuck kind of sacrifice is that?
Yeah.
You're already like them. You're already like them.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, maybe it's just whatever. If you stay here long enough, that stupid thing, you're end of a villain. Doesn't matter. Maybe it just doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, I mean, you know, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts, absolutely. Yeah, I don't.
Even when
I
you want to
really don't
redistribute
know.
power,
I really don't know. You know, I really don't know. I mean, you can look back on the, you can look back on the good things that people like Fidel Castro and Che Guevara did, but then you also have to look at the fucked up shit that they did.
That's the killer.
Yeah.
For you. Like that's the part. You're like.
I mean, was that necessary to achieve that goal?
Yes.
And you know.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's guys like I don't know if you've ever heard of Howard Zinn. He's a historian of Howard Zinn, People's History of the United States, and he says, like, imagine, like, not doing the killing part. Imagine not doing the bombing
so fucked up,
Japan part. Imagine not doing that part. And still, maybe it would have taken a bit longer to make these changes, but we would have done it without doing this. I don't know.
I wish that would be the case. You just can't anymore because you've already. That's the problem. That's the problem with killing. It's happened, and you can't actually erase that.
Yeah.
You know, it's something
Yeah,
that seeps into the psyche of people who
No, I
are
know.
your progeny. Like,
Yeah,
it's like years down the way, and they understand that
Yeah.
as that's how we survive.
No, exactly. I mean, you take like just even take Ukraine for example. Like that's not going away for 20 years.
And how could it?
No.
How could it? How could it? And why should it at that point?
The fucking hatreds that has fucking spurned are with us for another fucking generation.
Yeah, at least.
It's
at
terrible.
least.
But I mean, even like you take things that happened fucking ages ago, like Armenia.
Yeah.
You know, like that's still raw.
I mean, it's super raw.
Yeah, once it happens, it doesn't go. I don't fucking know. I don't know.
I mean, I think
I was feeling positive.
It's me today. Sorry, buddy.
I was feeling positive.
It's me today, but I'm really thinking, like, honestly, I don't think it's so bad to just fucking be like, swift justice, just be like fucking off with their heads.
Anyway.
I'm sorry. I ruined it today.
No. You're right.
You usually do it every week. I don't feel that bad. I don't feel that bad.
Anyway, I'm going up to my vampire place.
I was just about to.
Going to visit the vampire.